You also up this year for Best Alternative for Shy Away. And what's so interesting is that being up for Best Rock last year, now Best Alternative this year, it makes you wonder, how music is classified. I mean,
Yeah,
you
we're
guys.
going backwards.
Yeah.
Next year it's soft rock, and
Yeah.
then it's adult
Then
contemporary.
easy listening.
Yeah, and
Just
then,
easy
and then kids
listening.
bop edition.
Does genre even matter these days at all?
I think it does, but I think it's just turning into something else entirely. Everyone's kind of grabbing from whatever we've been inspired by in the past, and now it's kind of more acceptable these days to kind of just blend things together.
Yeah, and music listeners are consuming more and faster than ever before, and so being able to put a label on it and clarify what it is helps understand how to receive it. But other than that, it does feel like those lines keep on getting blurred as the years go on, and so that's something that we've always loved doing, is just whatever's exciting for us, just do it and try not to keep those labels in mind.
Why do you think that's important as artists to have that freedom and not have those labels? You talked about blurring those lines. And why do you think it's important for artists to have that freedom to not think about labels and what radio station this is going to go for and all of those things?
Not holding to a specific formula is just another way for someone to feel like they have creative freedom. And nowadays, with a lot of different labels and partners and everyone involved in someone who makes music, I think everyone as a fan and a consumer of music is wondering, is this person making their own decisions? Are they really are they really owning this? And when you see them try something different and take a bit of a risk, that's probably indicative of the fact that they're making their own rules. And so that's it's always good to see. And I think because of that, because the artists that we have around us right now are in charge of what they want to put out, have more leverage than ever, get the better deals, and have more say in what happens on a creative level, you're starting to see more risks being taken, and that's why those lines are starting to get blurred more and more as time goes on. And it's exciting. I'm glad it's happening.
Clancy, Dead, Scaled and Icy. I'm down a rabbit hole of conversations about what does Scaled and Icy mean, the inspiration for the album title. Is this something we created, or is this a world that you guys genuinely created, right? Is this like fan fodder, or is this real?
We like to make every aspect of what it is that we create have meaning to it. I think that it's a bit of a wasted opportunity to create something. And for our music and our albums, there's always a backstory. There's always something going on behind the scenes. And if our fans wanted to ever dig into it and discover something, there's something there to be discovered. And so that's something we've always felt was inspiring for us as we continue to create, continue to look for inspiration. Mm-hmm. And so creating these stories, creating these timelines, and just a narrative for the music to live inside of has always been something we've been excited about. So yes to all the things you're saying, and it's all there, and a fan wants to look into it and dive in, it's there.
It's funny though, because you never really want to explain art, because sometimes the fan interpretations kind of having that nebulous subjective idea of art is what makes art art. But what did serve as the inspiration for the album title Scaled and Icy?
I mean, it goes without saying, the whole record was written in isolation, and using that word isolation and scaled back. It did seem like everything that was being created almost had a bit of a certain flavor to it, because there wasn't that in-person collaboration that you usually experience when making music. And so it was really inspired by being forced to be alone, being forced into one specific space. And the more you live in a space, the more you start noticing detail.
That's right.
Even if that space is very small, even if it's very confined, and those tiny details of that room, specifically the floorboards or the way that the wall is connecting to the ceiling, that can be like, what is that a metaphor for? And you can actually write a song about the very room that you're sitting in. And so this record is kind of taking a microscope to your surroundings and looking at things as close as I've ever looked at them before.
We're so excited. The fans are excited for your performance at the VMAs. What is it about you guys that creates such a visceral connection between you and your fans? Because not every artist has people creating whole websites to define the message behind an album. Like, that is unique, and that speaks to who you are as an artist and the connection to your fans. Where does that deep connection come from to the fans?
I know why it is.
Why?
It's because we're so hot.
Like Tyler said, if there are things there, and what kind of perpetuates that is that people are eager to dive in and find it. And so I think that we've just found a really good relationship with people who listen to our music, to where we like to create things and they like to put their own meaning to it or find the meaning. I think that has over time created a really cool connection.
And they're also very creative themselves, and that's what's so
Absolutely.
awesome.